Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Nova Spirit Tech, and as a kid I always wanted an FPV system, so when I play with my toys I could see how it feels like to be actually inside the cockpit of one of these things. Today we are going to be building ourselves a FPV using Raspberry Pi Zero, so let's get started. We're going to be using a Raspberry Pi Zero, the Raspberry Pi camera, and also streaming all that video information over to our Android phones. But while I still have your attention, I do want to mention that I have a second channel now, and I've started to upload stuff to that channel. I know I've been at it for a while, but I kind of neglected. But now I'm uploading stuff to that channel. So if you guys could please head over to that channel, subscribe. I'm trying to get over 1,000, and that would be great. And two, now I do have a Discord channel, and now because the comments get a little messy, after, like I could still see all the comments after the first hour, but after that just like blah. And since I have so many videos, comments just come in left and right, not just for the video I worked on, but previous videos as well. And for me to answer a question, which I try to do as much as I can, sometimes you guys ask a question 2 or 3 times in a row, and I know I've answered it before. Anyway, I've got the Discord channel. It's more organized than the YouTube comment section. Check it out. I have the link in the description below. And 3, if you guys are impatient like me and just want to get to a demonstration, here's a time code right here. You can just jump right over to that section of the video. So without further ado, let's get started. Now to begin, we're going to be using the Raspbian Stretch Lite. So you can head over to that website and download that. And I'm using Etcher to burn the image into SD card. Now, smallest SD card you could use is 4 gigabytes because we're not even storing anything. So it doesn't matter how big, as long as you can fit the image. Once you're done with that, pop it over to your Raspberry Pi. Now, as a recommendation, I would try to use a Raspberry Pi 2 or 3 just to set this up, just because it's 4 times faster than Raspberry Pi Zero and it's transferable. You could just take out the SD card, stick in the Zero, and it'll work. So on my setup, I'm just going to be setting up everything through Raspberry Pi 3. This way it's just much easier. All right, so we got first login, and we're going to have to go through this entire login process together because we have to turn on the camera and a bunch of stuff that we have to configure. Well, not really a bunch, but we're going to log in with Pi, and it's going to be Raspberry. All right, once we're logged in, the first thing we need to do is sudo raspi config and change your user password always. I'm going to leave it as default. You know, it's fine. Network option. You're going to have to set up your home Wi-Fi or whatever Wi-Fi you're using, or Ethernet, because we're going to need to grab the files at first. But then we're going to have changes later to the Android hotspot router. So just keep that in mind. Right now we're going to go through Wi-Fi, set up your country. I'm in US, so come on. Oh my gosh. US. There you go. And then I'm going to plop in my Wi-Fi password and get that connected. Now the boot option we're going to have to go through is console auto login. Okay. Localization options, we do have to set this up. Mainly for me, I just have to set up my keyboard layout because US and Europe is different, so, or UK. So I'm just going to change this over to the US. And that's it. Okay. Now next up we have to go to the advanced options. And we're going to have to go over to, oh, I'm sorry, not the advanced options. Interface options. And we're going to go to camera, and yes, enable camera interface. Go back to the interface options and enable SSH as well. And that's about it. We're going to do an update on this. Actually, I should reboot this first. All right, now we're going to do sudo raspi rpi update. This will grab the latest kernel, so we know we're up to date with everything, so we don't have to do this later. All right, once that's done, we're going to do a reboot. Now we need to do some updates, which is sudo apt-get update to grab the latest repositories. All right, now that we're done with the hard part, yeah, that was pretty much the hard part, but let me clear this screen first, and we're going to get my repository. So git clone https github.com Nova Spirit Pi Zero _ FPV. I basically just wrote a script to start the streaming service, and I'm going to go into it and describe how it works. So this way you can modify it if you need to. So I'm going to CD into Pi Zero FPV, and I'm going to do an ls to show you the structure, and we're going to nano stream.sh. Okay, so the first part is the Raspberry Pi vid. It's the native app for Raspberry Pi Zero to capture the video from the camera. And then you have the rotation, which is 270. Depends on how you fit your camera. You might want to play around with the rotation. Now the width and the height. The width I kept at 640 and the height at 360, which is a widescreen resolution, but it's a very small widescreen resolution. FPS is 30 frames per second, and that's the bit rate. Now next, this pipes everything into GStreamer. And then here you have the yellow part you see right here has the resolution again. And then if you move towards the end, here's what makes this work. It's actually using a UDP sync. It's different from TCP. Now, here's the technical bits, a little bit of a technical bit. TCP is more like a connection where you get acknowledgement. So if I send a packet over to somebody, they will acknowledge it, and then I would say, oh, okay, you received it, I'm going to send you more, etc., etc. That's how basically TCP works. Now, UDP in another form, they just basically blast information over, like blah, and all it does is just keep sending information regardless if you received it or not. It's still going to send it. So that's how the stream usually works. And sometimes when you get those artifacts in the videos, that's because the information didn't fully get sent, or I didn't capture all the information correctly, which is fine. All I need to do is just keep blasting the information. I can get the stream correctly working. Then you have the host, which is 192.168.43.1. Now that's important because your Android, when you become a tethering device, that's the router's IP or your phone's IP. So what it's going to do is just blast a bunch of information. In this instance, it's going to be the video, and it's blasting all that stuff to the host, which is your phone, at port 9000. Now if you're going to use this device as like a home security device or something else, and you have it connect to a network instead of your phone, you might want to change the IP to whatever device you're going to be blasting it to. So if your desktop is going to capture all the video, you might want to change the IP to what your desktop's client are going to be, and then you pop up VLC media player to capture all that. All right, so hopefully you understood all that and you're able to modify it if you need to. So let's get into adding it into the boot up. So what we're going to do here is nano period bash underscore profile, and over here we're just going to do sh/home/pi/pi zero underscore fpv /stream.sh, and you're done. Just save it, Control X, yes. Once you're done saving that, it's going to boot up. Since we have the auto login working, it's just going to auto log into your Pi account, and then it's going to run that command initially. Now the last step we have to do is actually connect the Raspberry Pi to our cell phone so it remembers that connection. All right, the first thing we need to do is actually download this app called Raspberry Pi Camera Viewer. I have it installed already, so we're just going to hit open over here. Okay, now that it's started up, we're going to add a new connection, and in this connection we're going to edit first. We can name it to whatever we want to name it to. So in this case, I'm just going to name it to FPV. And we're going to enable advanced mode. We don't have to worry about the stuff on top. Now, we have to modify this one little line that says TCP client, erase that and change it to UDP. And the host, where it says 00, we're just going to delete that whole thing. And then we're going to change the port to port 9000. That's it. Scroll down to the bottom and save. All right. Now that everything's all set on this end, as far as the camera, we're going to hop right over to our internet connection, turn on hotspot and tethering, set up the hotspot, and I'm going to name the network something very simple so it's easier to type on our Raspberry Pi. So I just named the phone, and remember to turn on security or else it won't work. And it doesn't connect with open security. You need WPA or something. And I just put in an easy password. Save, and then I'm going to turn on my hotspot. Now once I turn it on, you're going to see if I go to Wi-Fi hotspot users, there's nobody there. So at this point, I'm going to hop back onto my Raspberry Pi, and I'm just going to do sudo or raspi config, head over to network options, go to Wi-Fi, and type in phone, because that's what I named the SSID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the password, and then finish. Give it like a couple of seconds, and then now go back to your phone and check the Wi-Fi hotspot user, you're going to see Raspberry Pi is connected with an IP address, which is perfect. That's what we need. Next up is to test this connection. All we have to do is just reboot it. It should automatically connect to your phone and also automatically send video information. So let's try that out. We're going to hit finish and we're going to do a reboot. Now on my phone, what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for the connection is turn on this video viewer. I'm going to hit the play button and it says preparing pipeline to play. So I'm going to leave that going and turn off that. Now it's just a waiting game between this coming on, and it takes about 30 to 40 seconds or so, I believe. Oh, there we have it. Worked right away. All right, cool. Now it's time to build a case and set it up and test it on a real life environment. All right, so what I did here first is found a 3D model that works for my setting. Now, Thingiverse has actually a lot of cases that you could put for the Raspberry Pi Zero with the camera. I just decided to go for this one, but I'll leave a link in the description for the one that I used. And as you can see, it actually printed out really nice. Fitting everything into this guy was very easy. It just was very straightforward. It worked right away. I actually thought it was not going to be able to fit the camera cable, but it worked even for the extended cable, not the 40mm. This is the long hair cable, and it worked right away. As soon as I'm done, everything looks so good once everything was packed together, and you have easy access to SD card if you need to change anything. After this is done, I decided to take my son's remote control car and decide to play around with it. Now, to attach this onto a remote control car, I actually used some thumbtack, stuff that you would put on posters. Stuck that to the roof of the pickup. And then as far as the battery pack, I just threw it into the bed and used some painter's tape and held it down. And as soon as everything's all set, it looks really good. I mean, like no joke, I'm so surprised how well it is. And here is going to be a video demonstration of how it looks as it's riding. So ultimately, this project came out very well. I was so surprised how easy it was to put together. I did a lot of research, and every time I looked, it looked like it got harder and harder, that you had to compile this, do that. And the more I dug into it, the more I figured out that I could just pipe this into a GStreamer, and that just made the entire project much easier. You're gonna notice almost towards the end of that video, there was a lot of artifact, which is normal in this case because I'm going further out. I'd rather have a little bit more artifact than to have latency in the video, so it worked out very well. It's very lightweight. Depending on the battery pack that you want to use on it, you could probably put this on another drone or put this on a boat, car, I don't know, whatever, anything you want to do. What I did notice by using this specific case, or maybe others too, you can actually fit one of these cell phone wide angle lenses on there. You can see that? And then you could just pop that on top of there, and then you will get a wide angle like the GoPros, which is really cool. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you guys have any questions about this, hit up in the comments below, and also check out my Discord. If you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.